Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the LOG Show here on YouTube. I hope everything is up and running well. I've double checked like 3 times, so if it's not, I don't know what's going wrong this time. But I am here, and boy, is there a lot to talk about, especially with me missing last week and not being able to do an NFL draft preview show. The 3 rounds of the NFL draft have concluded. Congratulations to all of the people who were picked in the NFL draft. It is an accomplishment of its own to be one of those many selected that night, as well as congratulations to all of the players going through meetings right now to sign as undrafted free agents. It's a blessing opportunity, one that obviously I think you guys listening know me pretty well. I never even played college ball, so I don't know how I would have gotten to the NFL draft. I mean, I wait for a phone call every year, but it never comes. It never comes. But the NFL draft did happen. I have some winners, some losers. I'll definitely be talking about the big moves from both New York teams, and the Giants and the Jets both making some major draft choices. Some great additions, honestly. I loved both both of them. I loved both drafts out of both New York teams, so I'll talk about that. And the Yankees are making major roster moves as well on that side of New York. In the baseball realm, the Yankees making major roster moves, calling up Elmer Rodriguez, also calling up utility man. Sorry, I have his name. I forgot who. Oh, Max Schumann. That's who it was. They call up utility man Max Schumann to replace Giancarlo Stanton, who will be injured for a little while. So replacing him will be Max Schumann on that bench, and then replacing Luis Heel, who, I mean, a lot of us thought that, it seemed that they were going to keep that whole Dominguez thing going. I don't know with this Elmer Rodriguez call up who they sent down. If there was somebody else they sent down, I couldn't find it because it just kept saying Elmer Rodriguez called up. It didn't say that they were sending Dominguez back down or anything like that, but Dominguez also was called up, made his season debut last night, going over 3 against the Texas Rangers. So I'll be talking about that. And you guys see the shirt? Tonight is the biggest night of the Knicks season. I can't sugarcoat that or put any cherries on top of it. Tonight is the biggest night of the Knicks season. The last game when they were down 2-1 was also the biggest night of their season, and it continues to be the biggest night of their season until they are not with their backs against the wall in the situation that they currently are against the Atlanta Hawks. So obviously Game 5, 8 p.m. tonight, I will be ending the show talking about the Knicks, the money line, everything I expect out of Game 5 tonight. And then obviously, as I love to do on this show for you guys here, we got box of Topps Heritage that I will be opening to end the show. Hopefully that auto Aaron Judge is sitting right in front of my face in that box. But back to, what I really wanted to lead the show off with, which was the NFL draft. I know, Vin, I see you're in the chat, so I don't know how active you are at work right now. Hopefully I could get some live feedback after you hearing some stuff as a Jets fan. I'm a little bit more tapped into the Jets fan base than maybe I am as a Saints fan. But the NFL draft, man, Mendoza goes 1. I'll start there and just talk about that a little bit. I don't think it surprised necessarily anyone outside of, my one friend who had the bet on Ty Simpson to go 1. But Mendoza goes 1 as expected. But once we got to 2 is where everybody really felt the draft was going to start, was where are the Jets going to go at 2? Were they going to go David Bailey, Avril Reese? Were they going to go Ruben Bain Jr.? Everyone knew that they were going to go edge rusher. It was which edge rusher were they going to go? And they end up going with Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey, who now Giants fans are happy they got Avril Reese. And don't get me wrong, I'll talk about Avril Reese and his potential in a little bit when I talk about the New York Giants. But I think a lot of Giants fans love to rub it in the face of Jets fans. Oh, you're the Jets, blah, 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 blah. All of that. And they like to go, oh, you really passed up on Avril Reese and let him slide to 5. But David Bailey, by all means, is also a great edge rusher. There was a reason his name was in the conversation for the number 2 overall pick. There's a reason this wasn't a shoo-in. There have been years where the first 3 picks are shoo-ins, but David Bailey was, in my opinion, the most, when it came to edge rushers, the most NFL ready prospect. And I think a lot of people felt that way. When you look at him at Texas Tech, obviously the big stat that stands out to everyone when it comes to David Bailey is he led the FBS in sacks, which is huge to do. I had some people around me talking about, he did it at Texas Tech. This Texas Tech program is something that, has been in the storylines as of lately with the whole scandal going on as of the moment, but has been a program that has built themselves up to be a very good program over the past years, has recruited extremely well, and has had a bunch of NFL talent come into the league over the past 2 to 3 seasons. And David Bailey is the highlight of what they've been building over there at Texas Tech, at least to this point. Obviously, there's a situation going on with the Texas Tech quarterback. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he was a projected first overall pick next year, or first round pick next year. He, more likely or not, probably never playing football again. But David Bailey is an insanely great pick for the Jets. And honestly, for a position that the Jets are in, I don't think they have room. When you really think about it, I don't know if they necessarily had room for an Avril Reese type of player where you might have to sit there and possibly wait a little bit for Avril Reese to, break out and maybe hit his full potential. Avril, I compared it this way, and I think if you've watched college football at all this year, you'd very much agree with my statement. I don't think the statement that I'm about to make is this crazy, outlandish, I'm this NFL expert, draft expert statement, but what you were choosing between with Avril Reese and David Bailey was David Bailey has a higher floor. David Bailey at his worst is better than Avril Reese at his worst. But at their top of their potential, Avril Reese does have the potential to possibly be, the best defensive player in the league. It's the truth. He does have that type of potential. But I think with the Jets, what they do in this draft, not only with the Avril Reese pick, but then after not Avril Reese, David Bailey, I'm sorry. Not only with the David Bailey pick, but after the David Bailey pick, what they're able to do with it. They go get Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon at 16, which is another pick that this one is more similar to the Avril Reese pick, where Kenyon Sadiq might not have a whole lot of film on paper to show that he is this stud of a player, but what he has shown is a lot of versatility out of that tight end position to be like a Kittle, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely type of player that, ironically enough, with Isaiah Likely coming into the Jets locker room over on the other side, or the Giants locker room over on the other side, but Kenyon Sadiq is someone who could very much help the Jets spread the field, be another weapon to help get the attention off Garrett Wilson and whoever this next quarterback for the New York Jets is going to be. And then not only do you go get a weapon in Kenyon Sadiq, you then trade back into the first round and go get Indiana wide receiver Omar Cooper, where, yes, I don't think necessarily this is as good as a fit as Malachi Lemon could have been. And, you see Malachi Lemon go at 20 to Philly, trading up for him, which I think is a great pick by the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm not in the Jets front office. I'm not in the war room with the New York Jets. And I said it to Vin. I said it to you on draft night. The best I could hope out of getting Omar Cooper Jr. and trading back in was, the original thought was to trade back in with the Dallas Cowboys at 20 and go get Malachi Lemon, or trade in with the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21 or someone and try to get back in and go get Malachi Lemon. It was hopefully the intention. And then Philly does what they do, and you have to shift focus. And you shift your focus to the next best wide receiver available, which in my opinion was Omar Cooper Jr., somebody who has has a very wide catch radius, who is able to make a lot of good plays deep down the field. I just don't see it as good as a fit where Malachi Lemon is that guy who can go out wide or the slot. He's speedy. He's running these short routes. And you have Garrett running those posts and stuff like that. You don't get that as much out of Omar Cooper, but he's a young player and you could adjust. Or Garrett Wilson is versatile enough that his role can change in that offense. As much as he'll always be the number one receiver in that offense, I think that, Garrett Wilson is mature enough and versatile enough in his skill set that he can possibly change his role to be maybe that slot guy. And then this is the pick I think the Jets really got to steal at, and it is a position that they needed help in, because the number one storyline that everyone's forgetting about the New York Jets of last year was not the fact that they didn't have a quarterback, was not the fact that Garrett Wilson didn't have a number 2 wide receiver. It was the fact that this team didn't get a turnover. It didn't get an interception. I mean, it got a turnover, but they didn't get an interception all season. And they did a great job in the second round by going and getting Indiana quarterback D'Angelo Pons, who is a playmaker. After getting rid of Sauce Gardner, it is honestly, with the way that Sauce started to develop as well, D'Angelo Pons is somebody who can develop into the type of player that you expected Sauce Gardner to be. I'm a huge fan of D'Angelo Pons and his potential to be a star cornerback, to be a star defensive back in the NFL, to make plays, to cause turnovers at the highest level. I think D'Angelo Pons showed it against top teams consistently in the college football playoff last year. He played shutdown football consistently in the biggest games for Indiana. Did it in the national championship. Did it in the game before. Did it throughout the college football playoff. Did it throughout that magical Indiana season that last year. So I think D'Angelo Pons is another huge pickup for the New York Jets at obviously a huge position of need. Some people thought that they'd even, when they traded up for 30, some people go, oh, maybe this is for a defensive back. When they at 16, people thought maybe they'd scoop up a little bit and go get Mansour or someone and go get a defensive back instead of getting a weapon so soon. But what they did is they sat and they waited for a guy that I assume that they really wanted in D'Angelo Pons, who fell right into their lap at a position of need in the second round, and it was a great pick for the New York Jets. And I think even as we go deeper, as I go down this list, there's not a lot of New York Jets picks I don't like. And the last one I want to talk about before I kind of transition into moving on to the Giants is everybody is talking about next year for the New York Jets. Vin, you texted me. Yeah, I see you in the chat. You texted me. This is a good team for Arch Manning at next year or whatever quarterback we get next year. But the Jets did sneak a quarterback into this draft. And to me, he was one of my favorite quarterbacks coming out, and that's Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik. Sorry, Clemson, Cade Klubnik. It's a tongue twister. I mess it up a lot. But I love Cade Klubnik. I think he has been one of the best quarterbacks in college football year in and year out over the past couple years. And I think that he has a lot of pro potential. And the reason I say that is, one, when I watch the film, it's just the offense that Dabo runs down there in Clemson. I can't remember the city that Clemson's in. I was trying to say it. It's somewhere in South Carolina. But in Clemson, is it Clemson, South Carolina? Is that the city? I kind of sound like an idiot right now. That might be the city. But in Clemson, Dabo has run a very pro-ready offense for a very long time, and you see it in products that have come out of that offense over the past couple of drafts. Trevor Lawrence is finally hitting his stride. Outside of if we're saying on the field only, Deshaun Watson was doing great things on the field. He just wasn't a great person off the field. And that has no control over what's going on. And I hope that Cade Klubnik is nothing like Deshaun Watson off the field. Oh my God, I hope he's nothing like him off the field. But Deshaun Watson produced on the football field. Nobody can deny that. And I think somewhere in the fourth round, when you have what was available, you saw Drew Aller go 15 picks beforehand. I think Cade Klubnik is miles better than Drew Aller coming off of an injury. And I'm not saying this for Jets fans, for you to listen to me and think that Cade Klubnik is your franchise guy. I don't necessarily believe in that, but is there a little voice, in the back of my head telling me that Clemson wasn't terrible? They didn't have a great defense, and Dabo runs a very pro-ready offense? Could Cade Klubnik surprise people and maybe become a solid quarterback in the NFL? It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me at all. It wouldn't. Because like I said, when you go through the history of Clemson quarterbacks that have come through the NFL, they're ready for the NFL. I think Cade, I loved him in the combine. I liked him. And like I'm saying, I don't think he's your franchise guy. Like, if I thought he was your franchise guy, I'd think he'd be a first-round pick. I think he's a fourth-round pick. But I think it was a good choice at where they were in this draft and where they are roster-wise. Because you don't have a quarterback. But if you draft Cade Klubnik, you have this situation with a Clemson quarterback. You have one side of it where you could go, hey, we bring in this dude, the fourth-round pick, doesn't play at all. Okay, fourth-round pick, he's learning the game. Or you get a situation where, the season starts, Geno Smith ain't doing so well, maybe hurts his ankle. Cade comes in, maybe wins a game. Maybe goes 2-4. Now that's when you get a Tommy DeVito type of situation. You get these Jets fans know it well. Mike White situation, where Cade Klubnik can prove that he might be a quarterback in this league if he gets the situation, and I think that could ride the Jets possibly better into drafting a quarterback next year than Geno will. That's just how I feel about that pick. I think Cade puts pressure on Geno to play well. I think Cade has the potential, if given the opportunity, to play well. So I like Cade Klubnik at round 4. I think it was pick 136, something like that, something along those lines, 136. I like the pick. And with the Giants going on that side of it, I think it's a little more top-heavy for the New York Giants, but I think they did a great job as well. I think Avril Reese being arguably your worst pick in the draft is a crazy thing to be able to say as the New York Giants, and it's because of what I said before. It's Avril Reese's potential is just insane. He could not be good. He could be great. It's similar to when they picked Kayvon Thibodeau a few years ago, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. You know what I mean? What was that, 5-6 years ago now, where Kayvon was drafted to the New York Giants? It's a similar pick to Kayvon coming out. And I think the problem you have as the New York Giants is a problem of abundance, which is not one that you're going to be upset about, especially at a pass rusher position where you have Brian Burns, who led your team in sacks last year. You have, obviously, Kayvon Thibodeau, who I just brought up. You have Abdul Carter Jr., who you just drafted last year. And now you bring in Avril Reese. So you have a very loaded room. But now what you have the opportunity to do is you have two guys in Brian Burns and Avril Reese who are very versatile pass rusher. People are calling them pass rushers currently. But they're very versatile linebackers. They are not on the field only to rush the pass. Brian Burns can cover a tight end. Brian Burns can cover a running back. He has the speed to do so. And so does Avril Reese. So you have a lot of versatility here to really maybe play around with what you have, see what you have in Abdul Carter, see what you have now in Avril Reese. You know what you have in Brian Burns. And at this point, you really do know what you have in Kayvon Thibodeau. So you take what you have in the two young guys, and you try to learn what you have there. You keep probably Brian Burns because he led your team in sacks last year. He was your defensive captain. And if the two young guys are as special as everybody believes they can be in Avril Reese and Abdul Carter, I think you now have a situation where you look at the value of trading Kayvon Thibodeau again. Why not? You look at the value of getting rid of Kayvon Thibodeau and possibly finding a situation where he could land in where somebody values a pass rusher like Kayvon Thibodeau. Somebody like the Green Bay Packers who could bring him in alongside Micah Parsons and Lucas Van Ness to give them rest because Micah can never stay healthy. Or even a team like the New Orleans Saints, who could heavily, if they play better than expected, heavily need a pass rusher this season. They tried to do something in the draft, going to get a rate. I'm blanking on the name of the Raiders defensive end that they just traded for in the middle of the draft. But you have him. But, you don't have anybody who produced like Cam Jordan or when Clowney was on. You don't have, you have Chase Young who produced kind of well, but you don't really have everything you need there. So that's a team that could value somebody like a Kayvon Thibodeau. And then as you go down the list for the Giants as well, Francis Mauigawa, arguably the best tackle in the draft out of Miami. Arguably the best offensive lineman in the draft. You can argue it. I'm going to be honest. You can argue that he is the best offensive lineman in the draft, the best offensive tackle in the draft. They also saw the need at defensive back. The New York Giants getting Tennessee cornerback Colton Hood, who tore his ACL last year, so there's not a lot of recent film on him, but many felt that early in the season last year that he was going to be a top 15 pick before he tore his ACL. So getting somebody like that late in the second round at pick 37, who just has a ton of upside coming off of an injury, it's a rough situation, but to take a shot on someone like a Colton Hood, who to start the college football season last year was arguably the best defensive back in college football, what I think was a great pick for the New York Giants. And then not only that, you go and get Notre Dame wide receiver Malachi Fields as well, who I think a lot of people forget this because the first round is so flashy that a lot of skill position players, a lot of your great wide receiver twos and running backs and running back twos and those types of dudes are not your top 15 or your wide receiver that you're picking at 20. You know what I mean? For example, Jalen Reagor was picked before Justin Jefferson. Like, it's not always dudes that you expect to be the guy that you pick at this time in the first round that necessarily blow up. But you have situations with a Malachi Fields who he can definitely fit the role of a wide receiver too for this New York Giants team so well. Opposite to the situation where I felt like Omar Cooper doesn't really fit the New York Jets. Malachi Fields on the New York Giants. Malik Neighbors is that type of player that the Jets technically needed in a Mekhi Lemon. He is that quick first step, route running, short run. I'm going to beat you on a slant and beat you downfield. As much as Malik Neighbors has an insane catch radius and can beat multiple people deep and has a skill set to make him one of the best receivers in the league, Malachi Fields complements it so well. He's a lanky, speedy, deep, like a Devonta Smith. That's a good NFL comp in your division too. He reminds me of a similar player to a Devonta Smith, where he's this lanky, skinny, speedy guy who gets downfield well. And he can make a lot of big plays for the New York Giants in this going forward this season. Some other winners I have of the draft besides the New York Giants and that I love that Malachi Fields pick, man. But in that division as well, I think the Dallas Cowboys had a great draft. I want to talk about them. I just think they had an insanely great first round, making moves left, right, up, down, just moving around, bouncing around that whole draft. They trade up to get who I think is arguably the best, has the best potential in the draft. In Ohio State safety Caleb Downs, I think he possibly could end up being the best safety in the NFL at one point. And then you also trade back to get more value and get an edge rusher in Malachi Lawrence, who I think fits this team also very well. A team now losing Micah Parsons, bringing in Rashawn Gary, having a whole turnover in that defensive line. For the most part this season, that started in the middle of last season, or the beginning of last season was kind of where the turnover started, but I was a big fan of the first round for the Dallas Cowboys. And then a team that I love that I think did amazing things late. Again, obviously coming out, I'm a lot higher on a lot of quarterbacks that ends up being. There's going to be maybe 2 quarterbacks out of this NFL draft that end up actually being studs. But Cade Klubnik's a late round pick, like I said, for the Jets that I thought potential to have it. And another late round pick that I thought potential to have it was the Cardinals getting Carson Beck at pick 65. I mean, this was a man who was just in a national championship. A man who won, made back-to-back national championships at Georgia. While at Georgia, people thought he was going to end up being a top 5 NFL draft pick. Carson Beck, man, the only thing that scares me about the Arizona Cardinals, and I'll say it when I say about the Titans because I have the 2 losers as well, is you get Chase Bissonitis. I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about him. But you bring in Jeremiah Love. You have Marvin Harrison Jr. Carson Beck, after watching a few games behind a dude like Jacoby Brissett, could really turn into something special down there in Arizona if they could just find a way to protect him. That is what scares me about Arizona, is the protection in Arizona is very shoddy. They just need to find a way to protect the man. But yeah, I mean, those are my 2 outside of New York winners, would be the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. Like I said, getting Jeremiah Love at 3. You bring in a center in the second round. Third round, you come in and bring in Carson Beck. And then also bringing in Caleb Proctor, a great pass rusher later there as well for the Arizona Cardinals. 2 teams I wrote down as losers, though. 30 other teams could have been losers, and I couldn't think of one reason to put any of the 30 other teams, obviously the 4 who were winners weren't on there, but any of the 30 other teams as losers besides these 2. The Titans, I think, are the biggest loser of the draft. Not that Carnell Tate's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's Carnell Tate. Like, Carnell Tate has potential to be a stud, man. But you didn't draft a lineman until the 5th round, Tennessee. Cam Ward is going to be running for his... You didn't draft a lineman until round 5? Cam Ward is going to be running for his damn life. Round 5? You picked a running back and a wide receiver. You picked a wide receiver at 3. And you picked a running back before you picked an lineman. And there are 2 prospects that I like. I like Nick Singleton out of Penn State. I like Carnell Tate. Do I think Carnell Tate was the best receiver in the draft? Yes. But at 4? The Tennessee Titans, man. They need to fix it. They just need to fix all that. And then the other team I threw on my losers list was the Pittsburgh Steelers. I brought it up with Cade Klubnik before. I think he was a better prospect. I think the North Dakota State quarterback, Cole Payton, was a better quarterback prospect. And I think Garrett Nussmeier was honestly a better prospect than Drew Aller. And they end up picking Drew Aller at 76 to kind of probably sit behind Aaron Rodgers. And I get it, getting a Penn State guy. But I'm not a huge fan of Drew Aller. And I think that the Steelers quarterback scouting room hasn't done a great job over the past few years, and this is just another one that I think they missed on. And then obviously the big story of Malachi Lemon being on the phone with Pittsburgh when Philadelphia trades up for him. That one just hurts because it's an interstate rivalry, so that just hurts for them. But I mean, yeah, that's what I have to say about the draft, guys. I think the Saints had a mid-tier draft. If I want to talk about my favorite team, I think the New Orleans Saints very much had a very mid-tier draft. I like their first round pick a lot. I think as it got deeper, it kind of got shoddy. I also think that maybe you go get Caleb Downs at 8 instead of getting a wide receiver after Carnell Tate was gone. Um, but yeah, I think the out of all teams, I honestly my favorite draft, and I never thought I'd say this in my entire life. So Vin, clip this now. But I think the Jets probably had the best draft. I really do. I think the Jets probably had my favorite draft out of all 32 teams. Them, Arizona's up there. Not a lot of people like Arizona's. I'm bigger on Arizona's than a lot of people, but yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just the Jets did well, bro. I don't disagree, Jared. I think the Saints draft was very mid. I think it was very meh. I think they have some people who could potentially pull out of it, but not, by no means do I feel the way that I did with the year we got Michael Thomas and Kamara, and I was like, my jaw was on the floor that year. The Giants had, yes, I'm not disagreeing with that either, Jared. You missed the whole segment about me talking about how good the Giants draft was. But I think, I just, Avril Reese is a great potential, but it's just, it's a loaded room. It's a loaded room. It's a quite like, you're paying Kayvon Thibodeau a lot of money. You're going to have to play Brian Burns a lot of money. You just drafted Abdul Carter, and now you bring in Avril Reese. So I don't think it's a bad draft, and Avril Reese has a lot of upside. It's just, I think that they back themselves into a corner until they find a way to get rid of Kayvon Thibodeau. That's just my opinion. You could disagree. You could completely disagree, but moving on to a different sport. Moving on to baseball. Baseball, now that Jarrett's here, because I know you want to hear me talk about this, Jarrett. Yankees making some big moves today. The biggest one I want to talk about before I go in and talk about how the Yankees have necessarily been playing, because I think they've been playing absolutely well. I mean, you have Ben Rice and Aaron Judge, both with 10 homers and 20 bases. You have so much great things going on for the Yankees. They called down Luis Gil, bring up Jason Dominguez last night, and Jason Dominguez goes 0 for 3. You then have them call up. Last night it was this morning it was immediately reported. Utility man Max Schumann called up. Stanton's going to the IL for 15 days, which is fine. Stanton has had rough knees. It's early in the season. If Stanton's going to rest those knees, rest them now. All right, Giancarlo. But then we got bigger news from the New York Yankees making some bigger roster moves about 3 hours later. And that was them calling up number 3 overall prospect, 22-year-old pitcher, Elmer Rodriguez. And he's not only just getting called up to like maybe get some major league innings. No, he's starting tomorrow. He's getting his major league debut tomorrow. I believe they're playing Texas tomorrow as well. Yeah. Tomorrow in Texas against Nathan Eovaldi. He will get his first major league start and make his major league debut. This dude's a stud, man. This dude, if anything that has showed over just the past season and a half has showed about Elmer Rodriguez, this kid is a stud, man. As of right now, just this season in his 4 starts in AAA, he has a 1.27 ERA in his 21 innings pitched. He has 20 strikeouts. That's just under a strikeout an inning. He has under a 1 whip. He has a .89 whip, which is absolutely insane. Also, over the summer, we watched him pitch 3 scoreless innings in the WBC, only gave up 1 hit with 3 strikeouts. So he has pitched against major league batters before. Absolutely dominated in AA last year. Had a few AAA starts last year, and it kind of was rough for him in AAA. I'm not going to be honest. I think he had 6 AAA starts last season, and he had about he had just over a 7 ERA. It was rough, but coming into this year, he's been in a different type of mode. Like I said, 1.27 ERA in 4 starts. I mean, Jared's got all of his pitches that in the chat right now. He's throwing a sinker at almost 100 miles per hour. Has an insane amount of pitches too. If I'm right, Jared, I believe he throws 5 different pitches. I believe he throws 2 fastballs and 3 off-speed pitches, if I remember correctly. So I'm so excited to see what he is going to do tomorrow against the Rangers, and to see possibly somebody who could feel like another Cam Schlittler of last year. And if we can get young studs in this rotation with you have Garrett Cole and Rodon coming back. You have Max Fried. And if you're telling me if Elmer Rodriguez looks as good as he is, and we have Cam Schlittler, and you're telling me our 5-man rotation goes Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, and then this kid? From what I've seen out of this kid, that is a scare. That is arguably the best rotation. That, like, the only rotate, like, the Dodgers obviously combat that. There are other great rotations in the league, but that is by far a top 3 rotation in the league. I 100% feel that way. I mean, I'm biased, and I don't know. I'll be honest. I only really watch Yankees baseball. I don't know how deep many other rotations are outside of, like, the Dodgers and, like, the bigger teams, but, like, I love that rotation. I think that is the best rotation in baseball. And then not only that, you have Aaron Judge, right, who's been playing interesting, because John Boy brought this up. I want to say it was on Talking Baseball yesterday. It was maybe the day before. Aaron Judge batting in his first at-bat against pitchers has been unreal this season. In his second at-bat against starters, he has 1 hit, and he's batting he has a batting average of 0.87. He has 2 hits against his third plate appearance against starting pitchers. So that needs to be fixed, and I am going to be watching that tonight and tomorrow. And as the season goes on, it's something I am now taking note of, that because John Boy brought it to my eyes, that Aaron Judge needs to do better in his second at-bat against starters, especially that, because that one will come. But his first at-bat against relievers, he's been doing insanely well. His first at-bat against starters, he's been doing insanely well. You have Ben Aros, playing out of his mind right now, already with 10 home runs. Obviously, Stanton was playing well before the knees started to get to him. Yeah, and you have a lot of pieces coming back. You have Volpe coming back soon, who I think the bat of Volpe coming in every other day with Caballero as well, who as soon as Volpe got healthy, I don't know what it is with Caballero. Every time, like, you need to think, we need to make Caballero think that his job is threatened 24/7, 365, because Caballero, when his job is threatened, has been playing insanely good baseball. But I think Volpe getting in there a few days, getting 2 days a week maybe to start, could be good for the New York Yankees, just because Caballero is not that everyday type of guy. It's just the truth. Obviously, you have Cole and Rodon both getting rehab assignments in, I believe they're in Scranton, if I remember correctly. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. They might be in Staten Island, but they might be in AAA, is what I'm saying. I always get confused on who the affiliates are. They change so often. But I believe they're in Scranton. Cole starts tomorrow, and Rodon will get his first rehab start on Thursday, which is always good to hear. And it's great. I mean, the Yankees are playing great right now, especially after that 7-game skid. They put a lot together. They played well against Los Angeles. Then you do what I always love to see, and you sweep a struggling Boston Red Sox team. Cam Schlittler does his thing back home in Boston, and you got to just continue doing what you're doing. Um, and continue winning series. Obviously, you can drop a game or two. There's a lot of games of baseball left. But I think right now, early in the season, it's time to figure out that rotation. Get that rotation down. If Elmer Rodriguez can come out here and be as dominant as he has been and show and even not I'm gonna be honest, the kid's 22. I don't even need a 1.27 ERA. I don't need this kid to be Garrett Cole tomorrow. I need to see the potential of it, though. Like, I need to see the potential of him being another dominant lefty in our rotation. And I think, like I said, he faced major league batters in his one start against for Puerto Rico in the WBC. He had 3 strikeouts, gave up 1 hit and 3 scoreless innings. He's pitching a 1.27 right now, so I'm very excited to see what he is able to do tomorrow. I will 100% be locked into that one. You want to know what else I'll be locked into, guys? I'm sorry. I got to get better at transitions. I got to get so much better at transitions because what I'm trying to transition into is the most important game of the New York Knicks basketball season. What I'm trying to transition into is tonight is the night in Madison Square Garden, right? You are down 2-1. You are down 2-1, and you are in Atlanta. And boy, I have experienced the hate for the Atlanta Hawks firsthand. I was in the building for Game 3 back there in, 2018? Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, and that squad making the playoffs. Trae Young handing out flyers before the game of people saying Trae Young looks like a dirty lollipop that fell on the floor in the subway. I've experienced it firsthand. Boy, do I hate the Atlanta Hawks. Boy, do I hate CJ McCollum now for what he has been doing in this series because it is exceptional things if I'm going to take my bias aside for 2 seconds. But you just had Cat drop a triple-double in Atlanta in a back-to-the-wall game. You are back home in the city, right? The heart and soul of basketball, New York City. This is a must-win game tonight. It's that obvious. I'm pointing out that the sky is blue by saying that this is a must-win game tonight. You cannot go back to Atlanta down 3-2. You cannot go back to Atlanta down 3-2. And it's you cannot. And you know, when I was looking up a lot of fun advanced stats before this game to go into Game 5 with, to really think about what's happening tonight at 8 o'clock, it was funny. One of the first ones pushed in my face was Atlanta has a losing record in close games. But guess what? Not in this series. Not in Game 2 and Game 3. Right? You had CJ McCollum hit ice in his veins in those 2 games. You cannot let that happen. You cannot let CJ McCollum continue to do what he has been able to do against this team. You need OG. OG has been stepping up the past 2 games. OG has stepped up all series. Honestly. OG's arguably been the best player on this team all series. Brunson. You can't have this beginning of the game skid that's been happening the past 2 games where you start off in the first. You got to score. You are our main scorer. Go be clutch player of the year last year. Jalen goddamn Brunson. Go do it. Mikal Bridges. I don't know what happened, but you turned it on. Keep it. Josh Hart. I need you to play with so much energy. When Josh Hart is playing with energy, playing with physicality, diving for loose balls, that is when the Knicks are the best. And that is what I need tonight in Madison Square Garden. Not only do I need that, I need to feel my TV rocking through the screen is how loud I need that stadium tonight and how loud I'm hoping Madison Square Garden is tonight for this New York Knicks game. Where in a series where they've honestly struggled. They have honestly struggled. They have not been playing their best basketball. They've put doubt in the minds of so many people throughout this series. They truly have. They've put the doubt in the minds of so many people in this series just because of how bad they've been playing. You cannot lose another game in the series. You have to win in 6. I cannot watch this go 7 with my own eyes. I can't. It happened with Detroit last year, and half the reason we beat Boston is because we were on a miracle of momentum. If you think this team, the way that they're playing, is going to go into Boston and win, they might not even win tonight with the way that they've played. They played in Game 2 and Game 3. I need what I saw in Game 4. It's that simple. And I need that for the rest of the NBA playoffs. I don't just need that tonight. I don't just need that on Saturday or on Thursday or on Saturday. I need it every single game until you are sent home or a trophy is raised and there is a parade down Broadway. Vin, I told you I wasn't scared of Detroit. I said I was a little bit, but I told you they were frauds. Now, did I think they were going to lose to Orlando? Hell no. But, like, if they ended up a 2 seed and we were the 3 seed, we were beating Detroit. Ironically enough, though, the last time an 8 seed was up 3-1 against a 1 seed and lost was the Orlando Magic to the Detroit Pistons in 2003, and the Detroit Pistons went on to win the NBA championship that year. So let's see how the series goes. It's not over until it's over, as we have learned. I think my generation knows it very well with Blocked by James series. But, Orlando has been playing insanely great basketball recently, Vin. I cannot deny that. They have been playing very, very, very good basketball as of recently. But, hey, Cade Cunningham hits a stride. Certain teams hit a stride. That's how the playoffs are, bro. That's where it gets interesting, is if Orlando does win that series, right? They play the winner of Cleveland-Toronto, more likely than not Cleveland. Are you telling me that somehow that this Cleveland Cavaliers team or that Orlando Magic team is going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals? Like, that's baffling. That's where it's baffling to me, I'm going to be honest. That is where, like, if Orlando wins, the fact that the 3 teams on that side that are going to make the Eastern Conference Finals are either Cleveland, Orlando, or Toronto is insane to me. It's insane that one of those 3 teams has a very good chance of making the Eastern Conference Finals. But, I mean, yeah, I can't sugarcoat it anymore for the New York Knicks. I mean, like, you have CJ McCollum averaging 24 points a game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Knicks have been playing great defense, too. You just got to lock in. You cannot. And it's the close games. Like, go back to Game 3. What was it? Go back to Game 4, I mean. Not getting a shot up is embarrassing. Go back to Game 3. Or Game 2. CJ McCollum again. Like, this Game 3, scary. Like that type of stuff in the close games. Game 2, letting CJ McCollum just hit a fadeaway jumper from his spot, and then you let him do it again in Game 3. You got to lock in, and when it gets close, gets down to the nitty-gritty, you got to win. It's that simple. All right. Yeah. I mean, they got to win, bro. They got to tonight. They got to. I mean, how do you guys feel? Vin, Joe, Jared, I know you're not a Knicks fan, but, like, if they lose tonight, the series is over. You can't go to 7 with Atlanta. What, you win in 7? What hope does that give me for Boston? Like, what hope does that give me that we could beat Boston the way that they're playing with Jason Tatum? Especially if Detroit loses too, bro. Like, if Detroit loses, if Detroit loses, man, like, this is the year to squeeze in as the New York Knicks to an NBA championship, or at least make the finals. You know, I'm not going to sit here and argue that they could beat the Thunder or even the 4 seed in the West, which is the Nuggets, or the 3 seed. But I don't know, man. Big night tonight. I mean, tip-off's at 8 o'clock. Last time I checked, Knicks are favorited by 6.5. Over-unders at about 213. I mean, Knicks money line, Cat 3+3s, right, Vin? Right, Vin? Knicks money line, Cat 3+3s. That's all I got to say about tonight. That's how I'll end it. That's how I'll end it. For you betting guys, for anybody who views this later, if you view it before Game 5 tonight, take it with me. Knicks money line, Cat 3+3s. Let's rock it. Let's rock that. All right. I'm going to disappear for a second, reset up the camera, and we got 6 packs of Topps Heritage to open. So let's have fun with that. All right, we back for the card openings here. Some absolute baseball for you guys. This is the one, guys. I said it before. This is the one. We got auto. We got auto judging here, bro. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 packs for you guys. Start with this bottom pack here. And, you know, I mean, back on the Yankees, like, bro, the Yankees have been playing great this year. And, like, I love going to Yankee games. I'm about to go to the game on the 4th. Ben, I know you'll be there. I know you'll be there. Starting to pack off with Byron Buxton. Vladdy, All-Star card. Chase Burns. A Mason Miller. Jordan Lawler. Josh Hader, who's coming back from injury soon. Ooh, the Gunnar Henderson. The refractor. Ooh. Put that to the side. I got all my sleeves upstairs. I forgot to bring them down today. Carlos Estevez. All right, next pack. What are we feeling today, guys? What are we feeling? I mean, that's a good start with the Gunnar. I like that start. As we open up pack number 2. Starting with former Marlin, now Yankee Ryan Weathers. Alec Burleson. We got Cole Wilcox. Matt Chapman is having a good year this year. I'm a big Matt Chapman fan over on the Giants. Corbin Burns. All right. Another dude who's having not as good as the year as he had last year, but we got a Jeremy Pena. Got the pink sparkle Chase Burns rookie card. Ooh. You guys could see that one there. And then we end the pack with a nice Austin Riley there. Come on, somebody call it out now. Someone call the auto judge out in the chat. That's how we know. That's how we know it's going to happen. Starting this one off, Will Smith. Josh Naylor. Peyton Toole, who gave up a whole lot of runs to the Yankees a few weeks ago. Or a few days ago. About a week ago. Harry Ford. NL All-Star Ronald Acuna. Carter Jensen. We got the green parallel Canley Jansen. I think I already had that one. Nice Trey Turner. I don't know who's still in the chat. Let me know if you're still here. Let me know if you're still here, boys. Vin, I know you always here. I don't know if you could let me know you're here. I don't know if Joe's still here. I don't even know if anyone's still here. We got Salvi. Young Ho Lee. Jordan Westberg. Wilson Contreras. Kyle Bradish. NL All-Star Shohei Ohtani. Ooh. Turn back the clock. Ichiro wins MVP. This is a nice card. This is a nice looking card. And then we end the pack with Hunter Goodman. Let's fix this pile up a little bit. Halfway through. Final foe. The final foe. If you guys hate how I open them, just yell at me in the chat. Feel free. We got a Manny Machado. All right. NL All-Star. Spencer Strider. Speaking of Yankees who are playing great, Ben Aros. Put this with my the rest of my Yankees in my binder. We got a Wilbur Abreu. Or Willer, I apologize. Victor Mesa Jr. Ooh, this next one is nice. Topps Heritage. Pete Alonso, raw power. Him on the Mets still. So when he became a 2-run home derby champ. Ooh, all right. Some hits in this one. Ooh, this next one's upside down. We got... It was upside down for that? Just a normal refractor? They got me excited. Thomas Segrissi. Cards also. This one's cut bad. And then normal Canley Jansen in that pack. We got 3 packs left for everybody. Also, if you guys do enjoy the card openings, I don't know if you actually do. I don't know if you don't. Obviously, seems a lot of people tune out at this time. I'm going to start making this a YouTube video. I'm having fun with this today, though. We got Kabi. Jose. Max Muncy. Cam Smith. Miguel Andujar. Ooh, a Noah McLean rookie card. Mets ain't doing so well this year, man. They really falling apart. Slade Sissoni. We got the little pink sparkle Brandon Donovan. And then Cal Raleigh record breaker. Second time I've pulled that. finish up here. Get this open. Starting this one off with a Jackson Merrill. New Jersey's own Michael Trout. Chris Bryant had so much potential, man. Chris Bryant, 2016 World Champion right there, Chris Bryant. Novaldi Marte. NL All-Star Francisco Lindor. CJ Abrams. Ooh, got the green parallel record breaker. All right. I like it. And then a Bubble Chandler rookie card to end that pack. And last pack, but certainly not the least, as we end this stream here today. Starting off with Willy Adames. We got a Ketel Marte All-Star. Hunter Brown. Kyle Teal rookie card. Royce Lewis. Trey Yesavage. Nice rookie card there. Jorge Polanco and Dylan Dingler. That was a dud of a pack to end it. Some good pulls here, though. A few pink sparkles. Got a few other shine refractors. A full silver refractor. Yeah, Shohei. You got the raw power. You got the green Cal Rally in there. That was a fun pack opening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again today. I don't know if anyone is even still here, but thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Finally, we got this up and running well again. I'm so happy to do so. I hate the technology issues. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Remember, subscribe to me on YouTube. Hit that bell. Hit that subscribe button. You know, just like we used to. Everyone heard that. Everyone's heard that who's watched a YouTube video before. So, yeah. Would love if you guys could do that for me as well. Also, follow me on all my socials. All of them are in the description down below. Most of them are at the LOG Show or the LOG Show _ on TikTok, Instagram, X, all over the place. So please follow me there for more content, more fun stuff, as the month of May is going to be a big content making month for me. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much. Again. Can't say it enough. I will see you guys all next week. Peace out.